Welcome to Sit, Stay, Read, the podcast for every wag, whinny, and whisker. I'm Kathleen Donnelly, award-winning author and retired K-9 handler. Each week, I chat with novelists about the bond we share with our furry friends and how they inspire stories. Grab a coffee, get cozy with your favorite pet. It's time to sit, stay, read. Well, today I'm happy to welcome back to the show a good friend, fellow K-9 author, Jeffrey B. Burton. Jeff is here to discuss his latest release, The Boy in the Wall. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Oh, well, thank you, Kathleen. It's always a pleasure to come and chat with you.
Oh, it's a great pleasure and honor to have you on. And it was an amazing book. I love this book. So I'm excited for listeners to find out more about it. Although I have to start at the very, very beginning, not even into the story, with your dedication. That had to be one of the funniest dedications I've ever read. Tell
Oh,
us the
yes.
story behind that.
Yes, in fact, dare I pick him up? He's sleeping right here. Um,
If Milo will make an appearance, let's have him on.
oh, yeah. Can you see him?
Oh, I
He's going, what the
can.
heck?
Hi,
This
Milo.
little guy, who basically in the book, there's a bloodhound named Alice and Springer Spaniel named Rex. And Rex is goofy and silly and all sorts of stuff. And basically, I just steal Milo's personality for him. And Milo here is the sweetest dog I've had, although there's probably a couple dozen squirrels and rabbits in the backyard that would disagree. You know, I think they think of him as a serial killer, but
Oh,
but anyways, I don't know where you're located, but periodically, once a year, there'll be a string of houses that have um, community garage sales. And he and I will get up really early and go for a walk. And so I'm taking him for a walk, and this is literally like four houses down. So I sort of know the people, and they're setting up their garage sale. And I'm standing there and I'm looking for, sometimes they'll have a table of old paperbacks where, you
yeah.
pay 5 cents and you get some, some ancient book. And so they didn't have one of those. And I looked down and there'd been a big box of what appeared to be children's clothing that had just been set on the corner of the driveway. And Milo had his leg up and it was his first morning, thing. He was taking care of himself. And thank God nobody saw. And I almost jumped. And we got the hell out of there. And then we took the very long way around so I wouldn't see them on the way back. You know,
I love it.
and and so I can only imagine, whoever came to sort this stuff. Well, I thought we washed this.
I love it. Well, I enjoyed that dedication to Milo, and I really did laugh out loud. My husband said, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "You got to read this book dedication because it's the
Oh,
best."
yeah. I've for many of the books I've dedicated them to like a dog that I've owned, and
Okay.
I don't think I've not I don't think I've beaten any of them with I can beat them with that story, but
No, that was a good one. So, and then of course, let's get into the book. Let's get into The Boy
sure.
in the Wall. I'm a huge fan of yours. Like I said, I thought this is one of the best by
Oh,
far. So
thank you
tell
so
us
much.
about it. You're welcome. No,
Yeah.
I'm serious. Tell us about it. So,
Well, it's no big of a spoiler alert for The Boy in the Wall, because in the first chapter or two, we find that there's a body inside a wall. But what happens is Cory Pratt is a dog handler, and he's about 22 or 23, and he's got Alice the bloodhound and Rex the Springer Spaniel, and he's got a little dog training school, but he
yeah.
specializes in human remains detection, cadaver dogs. And so his sister, who is about 7 or 8 years older than he is, she's a Chicago police detective, and she volunteered him to do some community service, to go to an elementary school and bring the dogs and kind of show the children what you can train dogs to do. And he wasn't going to tell them anything about cadaver dogs, but he was going to show them commands they can follow and the different kind of dogs that there are. And it kind of goes south because there's a little redheaded tyke in the front row that just
Yes.
will not stop moving, and he'll keep talking and keep gabbing. And finally, the principal comes over and kind of takes him to the back of the room, and it's throwing Cory off. He's just, oh no, but the dogs are able to save him. And then the principal goes, "Hey, do you want to come into the cafeteria and have some cookies?" She's brought in some specialty cookies. So he's okay. And he goes in there and he's, trying to think of ways where maybe he could talk her into giving a half dozen of them to take home with him. And she goes, "What are your dogs doing?" And he looks over and Alice is facing the wall and she's patting the floor and Rex is right there too and looking back at him. And he just
Yeah.
goes, "Oh no," because they found something. And we find out that the school was under heavy remodel over the summer months. They, decided not to rip it down, but rather just have this just huge remodel. And it was funny, Kathleen, as you had told me that you actually had to go and do similar things with your
Yes.
dogs. And so how did that go?
I'm laughing. I totally felt Corey's pain. I was pretty good at giving presentations to middle schoolers and high schoolers because you can be a little more adult. But I
Right.
had to give a presentation once to a kindergarten class, and I don't have kids, so I'm coming in cold, and I'm thinking, okay, I have to be careful what I say. And I would say like the dogs find bad medicine or something, or medicine that shouldn't be at school. And then I finally slipped and said something about marijuana. One of the little girls in the front, "What's marijuana?"
Did you bring some?
Yeah. To which the teacher was just like the principal in your book. She was like, "Okay, we're done. We're done today." So I figured there was a kindergarten class that evening all the kids went home, "Mom and Dad, what's marijuana?" And they can thank me for that. So.
Yeah,
But we did
oh,
not find
funny.
marijuana, nor did we find bodies.
That's
But
great.
school remodeling I have some school remodeling stories, but I loved the body I mean,
Yeah.
it's a tragic case as we find out, but I love that you hid the body in the wall. That was a smart place.
And it's kind of I mean, writing about cadaver dogs, a lot of times in books, maybe there's a sheriff or police detectives or
Yeah.
the FBI that believe, hey, we think the killer put the body in a swamp, in the
Mhm.
forest, in a field, and they bring in the cadaver dogs and they'll find the body, and then the story will kind of go back to the police detective or the FBI agents.
Yeah.
But in my books, they're the protagonists. And
Yes.
in this case, it's kind of you know, the idea kind of came to me. A lot of families have not really deep, dark secrets like a Harlan Coben novel, but they have stories from previous generations. Great great grandpa did this, and great grandma
Yeah.
they came over
Yeah.
from, and the different kind of stories. And so the idea kind of came to me where, what if something from generations ago, what if it kind of collides with the present and serves to kind of baffle the police because they cannot find a motive? And I tried
Yeah.
to have a little bit of fun with that. Um, the idea came to me. My grandfather on my dad's side, he passed away when my dad was 18. And when I was like a kid, I was like 10, and we're visiting my grandma, and she's worried because she's retiring, and it's she's worried about her Social Security.
Right.
And my dad is going, "Mom, why are you worried about Social Security?" And she goes, "Well, I'm afraid of your father's first wife get it. To which my dad said, my dad goes, Dad was married before.
Oh no.
And not only had his father been married before, but there'd been a child. So dad had a
Oh
sister
my
who was
gosh.
like 15 years older. And, dad had, he had a sister with his mom and dad and a brother. And so it doesn't look good, but at some point, my grandpa kind of walked away, kind of left, and I understand divorce, but you kind of walked away and started a new family, and then your
Wow.
daughter was never part of your life. And so my cousin is heavily into genealogy, and he wound up tracing down, I guess it would be my aunt. I've never met her. And she had since passed away, but like her grandson, and they got together for lunch. My cousin called to tell me, and I said to him, I go, "Did he punch you?" Because
Yeah.
our side,
Yeah.
if there's a villain in the story, and so I've kind of toyed with that because you know he did something that on its face sounds really lousy. But Kathleen, if he hadn't done it, I wouldn't be here. So
Right.
you know,
Right.
you'd be interviewing Spencer Quinn again. You know,
Right. Right.
but
Well, and yeah, I mean, I love, okay, that's fascinating with the family. I was gonna say you put the fun back in dysfunctional in the family in this book.
I think I
So,
I may have exaggerated and kind of spun it quite a bit beyond that story, but I tried to have some fun and hopefully make the
yeah.
readers want to turn some pages and you know.
Definitely, because, and I thought what was cool about this book, as I was thinking about it, is there was different levels of family. You have Crystal and Corey, who are the only family they have left. They've lost their
Right,
parents. And so
right.
they're very close. And then you have this other family that, in an odd way, is close, and in an odd way, really isn't. So, yeah, I'm trying not to say too much. I'm like, okay, don't spoil anything. But I felt like you gave your antagonist, like, I really understood her, especially as a female.
Yeah,
It's,
I kind of I liked I think when you write you don't want to make like the villains, one dimensional. And I
yeah,
think you kind of want to, in their mind, this is totally justified. Everything I've done along the way is totally justified.
yeah,
And it's really kind of fun to maybe manipulate the reader like, okay, the sympathy is here. Well, now the sympathy is not there. The sympathy is
yeah.
over here now. And so I kind of had some fun playing around with that. Um, and yeah, I don't know if I don't think I created the genealogical thriller, but I'll take credit for it. You know?
Yeah, well, and honestly, this day and age with the genealogy testing, like you were able to find, your cousin was able to find I guess it would be a cousin as well, another cousin, and
It would be, yeah. The
yeah,
yeah, it's yeah, just a crazy story that you know, they never, I think, I mean, kind of a different time, and I think they never really connected, and I think they were afraid that maybe grandma might be sad if they, connected with someone that
yeah.
wasn't part of their core family. And meanwhile, grandpa, I never saw him. He died way before I was born. So,
Okay.
you know,
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
you never
so
knew. Okay.
never knew him.
Yeah.
And he's never been around for me to say grandpa.
What were you thinking? Yeah. Well,
What
it is.
do you
It
do?
was a different time though. It was, I mean, you didn't get divorced. You didn't, I mean, so that makes sense. So, and I thought you brought that in really well into this book. Obviously not your family. We'll just make that clear. This is not your
Yes.
family story.
No, it's just the kernel of the idea.
Yes. Yeah, but I love it. And I thought the other interesting theme I kind of saw throughout the story was falling in love and relationships. Actually
Yeah.
is very strong theme throughout it.
I kind of what I like to do is I kind of like maybe the psychological dance of when two people meet and there may be a connection, there may be a spark, or maybe they're ships that are just passing in the night. And I kind of enjoy playing with that. I don't really, um, if they connect, I guess I like writing these psychological love scenes, and
Yeah.
I don't really, I guess I don't really do a lot of the sex scenes, but I like the psychological love scenes,
Yeah.
and I had some fun with that. I mean, Cory's a little bit broken. His parents had, when he was 16 or 17, they'd gone out for a date night and were in a car accident, didn't come home. And then his sister, who had been a police officer at the time, moved home and they inherited the house. And he's got the basement, she's got the upstairs. And she really kept him from really having a huge breakdown. And this is a few years later where he's kind of crawling out of it. In fact, he's even gone to computer school, whether he enjoys it or not. He's met a girl. He's met a
Yeah.
girl there. And, maybe something will happen, or maybe just, ships in the night.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to know what's going to happen, but we'll have to talk about that. We'll have to talk about that later so that there's no spoilers here.
There's no spoilers. Yeah,
But I'm hoping there is another book in this series
there
coming,
is.
right?
There is.
Oh,
In fact,
good, good.
I finished it, and then I kind of when I write each chapter, I'll go over 3 or 4 times, and so hopefully by the time I go through what I consider the first draft, it's pretty smooth. But
Yeah.
I I don't really edit the language so much. And so I finished it, Kathleen, and you'd be so proud of me. I My first thing was when I was done was I searched for the profanity and I weeded those Effenheimers down.
I love
I got them
it.
to a manageable level.
I love it.
And I mean the my books are, I would say they're 95% maybe PG-13, and then
Yeah.
5% there's some violence and some a little profanity. Um,
Yeah.
and so that's the first time I ever really kind of, hey, maybe I should do this. And there were quite a bit more than I had thought when you see it all, you can do
I
that
do that.
word function. You go, really? Holy yeah.
I
Um,
know.
and so now I just need to go over it like 5 or 6 times. I mean, it is amazing as you know. I mean, you find stuff that
Yeah.
like I think I spelled tyke wrong, Tike, as opposed to Tyke, and I'm finding all this stuff, and I go, "Gosh, I'm an idiot." I can't believe I'm finding all these things, and I know the copy editor will then find a million more.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
God bless them. God, I could never do
Yes.
that. I mean, I think I could be an editor where if I took the book and I said, okay, from a plot point of view, here's some inconsistencies. Maybe you want to pick up the pace. I think I could do that, but I don't think I could ever be a copy editor because I would get too involved in the book, and
Yeah.
then I wouldn't see, any of the grammar or apostrophes that shouldn't be, or um, so my heart, when I get that, I just love it. I just go accept, accept, accept.
I do too. I'm right there with you. I sometimes I've taken to listening. I know they say to read aloud, but I think even when you read aloud, your mind will switch words. And so I have Microsoft Word read aloud to me because it's a machine. It's not going to change a word, and that's helped. Needless to say I still get some emails from readers. You missed a
Is
fill in the blank.
is
So,
is the Microsoft Word? Is it kind of a computerized, like he went to the door, or is it like
uh,
is
it's
it
a
like our
little
phone?
better.
It's a little bit
It's
better.
yeah, it's not bad. It's not how I want to listen to my audiobooks, but it's doable to do an edit. It's
Oh
bearable
yeah.
for an edit. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel you there. I mean, it's hard. If there's one thing I think readers we all want them to know is we do a lot of edits and
Oh,
there's still going to
yeah.
be a mistake, right? We're human.
And I think you and I are both happy that last year we kind of were able to maybe give up our day jobs and kind of
Yeah.
focus on this. And my old day job is I'd make online courses for that people were forced to take. They just loved me, and I did have fake voices where um, your mind would know that even though they made them better and better over the years, your mind after like 5 minutes, you go, I don't think this is a real person talking. And they would have it. I didn't make a lot of them. I get real narrators, but
Yeah.
to trick people, I would have like an English accent for us. And then I guess in England, they'd get an American accent because somehow the accent would cover it up a little, but not really. You knew it was a computer after five
Yeah.
minutes, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Oh, fascinating. Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love the back to the book a little bit. I
Sure.
love Rex and Alice. And I know in our last interview we talked about their inspiration and Milo and helping with Rex, but they were really fun in this book. I thought they played a good role, and we'll give one spoiler alert that no one all dogs are okay, if we can give that spoiler alert.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you how do you keep developing their canine characters? Because it's been fun.
Oh, yeah. And I think, Alex, I've kind of made her real kind of dogged and the real, solid A+ one. And I've had some fun at Rex's expense, but in the book that I'm writing now, I mean, she's a bloodhound, and I kind of get into how, they have so many folds in their skin. They're able
Yeah.
to kind of, it almost traps the scent, but then they're also within, a few seconds of having slobber. And
Yeah.
so, I have some fun with just the different characteristics of the dogs and how, when she has her head out the window, Cory is afraid that hopefully cars behind him aren't getting huge splatter right on the windshield. You know?
I love
Um,
that.
and Rex, he continues to have fun. I had a world's biggest dachshund when I was a kid, and um, neighbors would come from all over, and he had the knotted sock that I think my parents had made, and he would just play tug of war with you, and he could do that forever. And I think I have a little of that with Rex, where if you come over, he'll run up and he'll bring the thing, and tug of war time, you know,
Yeah,
time to have some fun.
I
But
love it.
yeah, and like I said, yeah, I kind of borrow stuff from Milo and the different things. I mean, good Lord, um, I I'll bring him out right before I go to sleep, and he's out there, and then he goes running off after something. I'm like, I just want to go to bed. Don't. And I hear the barking,
Yes.
and then he won't come in. He won't come in, and I'm like, no, now I'm gonna be up till. So I go out there, and I'm like, Milo, right now, and he comes walking over out of the darkness with this huge rabbit in his mouth, you know.
No.
And I'm like, you put that down. You put that down now. And so he puts it down, and I bring him inside and shut the sliding glass door. And then I got a shovel and a rake, and I'm getting ready. And I get the shovel and I get the rake, and then the rabbit jumps up and runs away. And I went into orbit.
Yeah.
I went into orbit. I'm like, ah! And then at that point, I look over and Miles like, Milo's like, I know he was laughing. And I'm like, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm not going to
Yeah.
turn the TV back on. you know.
Yeah.
So I usually steal some of that. We used to have a Pomeranian, then an Australian Shepherd, and the
Oh,
Australian
that's
Shepherd
right.
would eat anything, just eat absolutely anything. It did not matter. And so um, we even got the kind of garbage cans where you got to put your foot on it and the lid
Yeah.
pops up. Well, I was in the house alone with her. We just had him for like a week, and I hear the of a lid opening, and I knew I was in the house alone. And I come in there, and she stepped on it. Her face is down in there to see if, my daughter or whatever has put any candy or anything. And I go, "You have got to be kidding me," you know. Um, yeah, and
Smart dog.
yeah, she ate a bunch of M&M mint, holiday
Oh
mint.
no.
She ate the entire bag, and we called the vet because you hear about chocolate, and
Yeah.
it said get hydrogen
Mm-hmm.
peroxide,
Make him
and
throw
fill the
up.
turkey baster, you know. And so I'm holding her, and my wife is putting the turkey baster in her mouth and squeezing it. And she was okay with the first one because she thought it might be something good. But then we had to run and catch her, and it worked. It worked. And
Wow.
yeah, that was interesting, you know.
Well,
So no end of no. Well, you've had so many dogs. No end. You probably no end of stories.
yeah, there's a lot of stories, and she sounds like maybe she was a lab in the past life because labs eat everything too.
Yeah,
And I remember one of my labs alerting on a backpack, and it was in a locker, and she's alerting on the backpack, and she's eating the kids' lunch at the same time. So she was active alert. So she's scratching and eating. And the only thing that saved her, she had like a bologna sandwich that day for lunch. She thought that was wonderful. And luckily we did find drugs in the backpack, or she would have been in really big trouble. So she was
yeah.
only in a little bit of trouble.
The, the kid can't complain if he's got the drugs. No, you can have the sandwich.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, we let that go. But yeah, I mean, oh gosh, they're so smart. Dogs are very smart. So
yeah, yeah. I mean the Pomeranian, um, is just incredibly bright. I mean, we kind of we got her from a family that was moving, and I brought her downstairs to put her outside, and then she comes back in. She goes running up the stairs, and this is probably more telling of me because I used to do this to the Australian Shepherd. Is I just kind of move her flank like this so I could see her run up the steps diagonally, and that could be more telling of me, you know. And and so then she came down the next time. I put her outside, and I came to the steps, and she just stood there back looking at me, and I'm like,
yes.
what? What? And so she finally went, and I did it again. And she goes running up, and then she gets to the top of the stairs, and she's like, she kind of
She
hates
let you
my
have it.
guts. So the next time I put her out, um, I open the sliding glass door, and she's only been with us a day. And I go, "Come on in now." And she looks at me, and then she goes running up runs up the outside steps to go up to the deck so my wife will let her in upstairs. And I'm like, "You're Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
You,
They're so smart, and that makes them fun characters. Is that, I mean, obviously you're a dog lover. Is that when you decided to put a dog into your books, or what made you decide to add canines into your book? I don't know if I've ever asked you that. I should have.
yeah, I was surprisingly I was on jury duty, and they where I live, it wasn't like, when you were in Minneapolis. I live in a place where they send me to Hastings, which is a little town about a 40-minute drive
Okay.
away. And so I was driving there, and I actually got on jury duty. I didn't think my wife's an attorney, my dad was an attorney. I
Wow.
worked at a place where we did lit support, so I just kept saying, based on the John Grisham novels, I didn't think they'd want any, whatever. So, and I'm attorney adjacent, adjacent or whatever. And so I was surprised when they picked me, and it turned out to be the hardest, most complicated week-long real estate case. And the first day I drove in for the actual jury duty, they were talking about, an elderly gentleman had maybe walked away from his facility or his assisted living, and that the sheriffs had called in the cadaver dogs. And so, I mean, trials can be really boring. I mean, a 15-minute break is suddenly an hour, and
Yeah.
when they're talking to the judge and stuff like that. So they give you a yellow pad, and on the back page, I was kind of jotting down, well, what could they find that could be so would open up some case wide open, and what would I name the dogs, and what would the dog trainer's story be? And so by the end of the week-long trial, I'd filled everything but the last page of this yellow pad with this real estate case. And on the last page, I'd written, basically half an outline for the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, I know. I mean, I kind of, here's the bullet points, here's what could happen. And I don't think there's really, a lot of books where they're actually the cadaver dogs are the hero throughout the entire book. And so we went back after we gave the verdict, and the judge came in and he said, thank you. I would have probably gone that way. The bailiff will be in here shortly to pick up your notepads. And so now I'm like, oh my God. And so I'm moving coffee cups around and I've got it on my lap and I'm kind of hearing out that last page, and I'm hoping I'm not going to get have the bailiff put me in cuffs and get a contempt of court, but I
Right.
was able to sneak it out, bring it home, you know.
And that was,
But yeah, and unlike you, Kathleen, I mean, I'm not a dog trainer. I just do a lot of research, and I know you, and then there's a woman, Jean or Jane Ward, that lives near me that
oh,
has come to some of
nice.
the book signings that trains in kind of therapy dogs for soldiers that
Nice.
are coming home that may have post-traumatic stress syndrome, and teaches them to bring the clicker to them and all sorts of different things. And
Nice.
um, so I don't have the patience that you were Gene would, to I mean that had to be for training them on narcotics, Kathleen. I mean that who gave you the narcotics to
We actually, well, once Colorado legalized marijuana, we had a lot of products available to us. I visited dispensaries and I was at one dispensary where the guy said, "Oh, your dogs." I mean, I told him who I was and what I was doing, and
sure
he said, "Yeah," and he said, "Your dogs will never find this product." It was powdered THC that you put in water, and it would dissolve, and you wouldn't see it. I mean, there was nothing. It didn't get cloudy, even. It just looked like
like
water,
how they put it in
and
here now, you know.
yeah, yeah, all of that. They had some of the other drinks, but for some reason, he thought the dogs wouldn't find that, and they did. And I told him I placed a bet. I said, "Well, if my dogs can find it, will you give me my money back? Because those products aren't cheap."
Uh-huh.
And so I got my money back because
Yeah,
they
oh, that
they
is
found it.
cool.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
great.
But we also had pseudo drugs that we trained off of, so they smell like the real thing, but they're not.
Is that for
And
like maybe cocaine or heroin or stuff
yes,
like
yeah.
that?
Yeah, yeah, and especially with as towards the end of my career as fentanyl came on
Oh,
stronger. You
yes.
don't want to have anything real to because
But
the
well, that
dogs are affected by
yeah,
it. So
if they sniffed it up or ate it or
yeah,
something, or even just
yeah,
sniffing it, I think. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my.
yeah. So, but the human remains dogs,
Well,
they try to use the real deal. So that
right. I
makes
mean,
it interesting.
they do a lot of some of the blood you can take, have some taken, and
Yeah,
some teeth and even some hair, but they do have pseudo packets that are really kind of gross. Could be some decomposition smell,
yeah, yeah.
and so they how would you like to work for that company?
I know. I know. There's definitely a lot of pseudoscience out there. It would be an interesting and I'm sure it smells. I can tell you that the pseudo drugs really did to my nose and obviously to the dogs smell like the real thing. So I can only imagine having decomp smell. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's insane how incredible their sense of smell is. I mean, I'm lucky if I can, in a movie theater, I just popcorn, you know.
yeah.
Um, but it's what they live on. And Milo, when I take him for a walk, I mean, he's so he can find anything. I mean, a couple weeks ago, he
Yeah.
stuck his face down into this in the snow, um, and came up with a bagel that someone probably 4 months ago had, thrown down.
Yeah.
And I'm like, even if I could smell the pizza through the snow, I'm not gonna eat it.
No. 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 And I think that's what I loved about the boy in the wall. If anyone out there is doubting that the dogs can smell the body through something like a wall, it's for real. So I love that you had that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's amazing, and like you said, I mean, they do really extended games of hide and seek with the different smells.
Yeah.
And I haven't really done anything like you were talking about smelling that in water, but they can even go down to a certain depth if you're in
Again,
a boat. And I mean, it's absolutely just supernatural sense of smell. You
it
know,
is. It is. It's amazing. So,
yeah. I mean, they're even smelling cash now, which probably is drug money or people flying out of airports with a suitcase full of cash or something.
yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
yeah, I was at um we have those two airports. One's a smaller one, and they had me just one time walk by the dogs. They must have thought I looked a little hinky, you know.
You definitely look like a criminal, Jeff. I
Yeah,
don't know.
and I wonder how do they differentiate, I mean, major money versus the $4 I had in my wallet.
Yeah. They can do it. It's pretty amazing. I don't know all the ins and outs of that kind of training, but it is amazing and I'm glad you weren't busted that day.
Yeah, yeah,
You made it through with your $4.
yeah. Yeah, and at the airport you could buy maybe 1/8 of a water, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. I know. I always get through and I'm like, okay, now I take out a small loan to get my water and my trail mix and
Oh, yeah, yeah, a little bit of, maybe you can tie it into your mortgage. You
yeah,
know.
exactly. Yeah. Well, where can people find The Boy in the Wall?
Oh, it's at definitely Amazon or Barnes and Noble or Books A Million.
Okay.
Um, and I'm kind of I've got if you remember when you were in the cities, you remember Once Upon a Crime? They were
Yes.
the ones that set up. So I'm there on Saturday, and I'm even
Oh, good.
Duluth in a couple weeks, Duluth, Minnesota on Lake
Okay.
Superior. I'm actually venturing into Green Bay where those Green Bay Packers play,
Ooh.
you
Ooh,
know.
you brave soul.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's always kind of fun, you hope some folks will show up. And
Yeah.
let's see. Yeah, yeah, and libraries, some libraries are picking them up. I always get a kick out of it if I go to a library and see the book, and then
Nice.
I get mad because it's not checked out.
You stand there. Someone should check this book
Hey,
out.
why is this sitting here?
I love it. Well, and readers can find all that info on your website.
Yeah, jeffreybburton.com, jeffreybburton.com.
Awesome. And I forgot, do you have an author newsletter?
I don't. I used to,
Okay.
do a little blogging on Goodreads, and it's so funny is how there's so much social media,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm like, okay, I've been on Facebook. I got on Twitter when everyone was leaving Twitter. I,
Sounds like me.
the publisher kind of steered me onto BookBub, and so now I'm taking my reviews I had for Goodreads and I'm putting them on like BookBub, and
Nice.
I'm like, this is madness. This is mad. Oh, LinkedIn. I've LinkedIn and a website, and my wife started talking about Instagram, and I'm like, how many, how many of these? What do I,
I know.
So
Yeah.
you know,
But it sounds like people can find you.
they can find
That's the
me.
important thing.
They
Yes.
can find me.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
nothing else in the library where you'll be asking them why they haven't checked out your book.
Yeah. Why is this here? Come over here, librarian.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, well, this is fun, Kathleen. Thank you so much for having me.
Jeff, thank you so much for coming on. And everyone, if you love great canine books and thrillers, The Boy in the Wall is a
Oh,
great
thanks.
one. So thank
Excellent.
you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, until next time, keep your tails wagging and pages turning. Thanks for joining me today. Sit, Stay, Read is a part of the Authors on the Air Global Network. If you enjoyed today's author interview, be sure to leave a review and share the episode with a fellow animal-loving reader. If you're curious about the world of working dogs and wilderness adventures, please check out my books at KathleenDonnelly.com. Until next time, curl up with your best furry friend and sit, stay, read.